Hey guys, Dennis here.
Chrissy.
Muddy Water Search and Recovery. This is 34 years that Randy Leach has been missing. And we are joined today by special guest Jennifr. Jennifr, welcome.
Hi, Jennifr.
Hi guys, how are you doing this evening?
Good, how are you?
Doing good. I'm glad to connect with you guys.
Yes, so are we.
We are honored to have
I've
you.
been waiting patiently.
Yeah.
And my messages has been blowing up for this.
Right. Do what?
Unfortunately, the reason why we're here, another year
Right.
is not, awesome. I wish we could have put an end to this and just be chatting, but
yes.
Right.
Yeah.
The end is coming.
It is.
With as many people working together now, the end is coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like I told you guys backstage when we were talking, me and another member were discussing something, and I've looked over these reports and these pages multiple times. But one question from this gentleman, I ended up noticing something that I didn't notice every previous time that I've looked at these reports, and I was able to kind of garner a location on my map due to that. So, I mean, the collaboration and the teamwork and things like that, it kind of helps bring out things that I might not see or you might not see because we're all working together. So that's awesome in itself.
Right.
And the teamwork has been incredible.
Oh, my goodness, yes. The stuff you guys are finding out and then telling us, it's, But anyway, okay.
Oh, I got the chat now. Okay, awesome. What I'm going to do is I am going to switch over to the maps because I've never actually been on camera before, and it's not awesome.
I know. Okay. So go ahead and switch over to your map, son, and then it's all you.
Then you can still hear me.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, honestly, what I was thinking about today is starting off with kind of what I envision of an ideal team and search party. Because what you're looking at right now on our map, you have the red thumb mark in the middle. That's the last known location for Randy. You have 10 miles is the yellow circle from that location. 20 miles is red and 30 miles is blue. Realistically, the blue could be reached within an hour. So depending on how fast they drive and things like that, there's a lot in this. If we go just to yellow and try to zoom in on that. And then one of our members in our group was talking about creeks, ravines, things like that, since the Kyle Klink scale discovery last November. And, it's really a good thought and premises. But let me show you guys something. I only started to map the northern portion of this yellow circle above the Kansas City River. All these yellow markings you see on my map, those are where water meets road.
Oh, wow. Oh, my goodness.
Do you see that?
Look at that.
I mean, now, the thing is, we have you guys searching. We have Brandon and his wives and their wives searching. But this is a lot, not to mention the lakes.
Look at all of them. There are a big bunch of them right there, and that's ridiculous.
Yeah. And now let's add in some of the ponds that were present, at least back as far as 1991.
Oh my goodness! Holy moly! Look at that.
That is more. I mean, you guys. You guys wouldn't be able to take any other case.
No.
Brandon, who are gracious enough to help us out, would be burned out.
Right.
What I would like to see is, first off, a tier system of searching. And that being said, maybe someone who doesn't have a boat, who doesn't have sonar, I mean, even it's something my 65-year-old mother could do is pull off to the side of the road at any one of these yellow markings you see, take a picture of it. If you can clearly see bottom, post it in our Randy recovery site. We can mark that yellow spot off. If you can't see water in it, then we forward it to someone like Brandon and Brent.
Right.
If it's too deep for them to search without sonar, then we go to you guys, because you guys have multiple cases too. To get to all these places, we're going to burn ourselves out.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, if we had just citizens, all you had to do and really not even exert a lot of energy, just park your car in a safe spot. A lot of these are rural roads, so there's not really any traffic or anything on those. And just take a picture with your camera by the bridge of these creeks and things. I do have some of these started to be mapped off under creeks, streams, and ravines in my map that is public. Right now, what you're seeing is my personal map from Google Earth Pro and everything that I have stored and done files on and things like that. But I try to make my public map, which you guys can get through from the web address or the link, very similar to what I have at home privately. The only difference is the views are better for me on Google Earth. That's why I use them for these lives. But if we had a tier system, if we had maybe 10 or 15 people just going around when they pass these, just taking a couple minutes out of their day to stop and look to see if there's any water in there, if you can see the bottom of these things, we can get them marked off.
Right.
You know, I mean, because while there are many theories, there's not one more viable than the other as far as public knowledge. I mean, there's a lot out there on Randy because of the leaked documents, more than a lot of other cold cases. But I mean, there might be other things, but right now an accident is just as viable as an option as satanic theory or the car crusher, or, you know, things like that. And to get these marked off would be just like awesome. And then we can start really focusing in on them, because we got to wait for permissions and things like that when people are home. And, you know, there's a lot of these areas that someone can get to. And then I would like to ultimately see, like with summer coming up, you guys have some awesome, you know, beautiful countryside down there.
Yeah.
And if we go down, look at all these public waters.
Oh my God, Denny. Oh my goodness.
I mean, these are all within the 30-mile radius of where Randy was last seen.
Oh my goodness.
They technically can't be ruled out. I mean, so if you're watching this and you normally vacation and take your fishing trip up in Michigan and you have sonar, I mean, Kansas has some really awesome fishing.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
That you can come down, you can fish. I mean, there's camping, horseback riding at a lot of these places.
Oh, yeah.
Bring your family. And just as you're enjoying your vacation, you know, keep an eye out on these lakes, because these lakes are massive. And just one sonar scan, especially after 34 years, is not going to cover Clinton Lake.
No.
You know, especially because I've been watching like Adventures with Purpose, Exploring with Nug, and they're all saying like with like the tide and the wind, sometimes you have to go over it just right because you won't see it, you know, the first time and things like that. Well, something the size of Clinton Lake, to have someone out for one day to scan all the hot spots, we might miss something, especially with sediment and things like that. I mean, we can get multiple people that are from out of state, out of town. You don't need permission. You're a stranger to the area. You don't need to go knocking on strangers' doors. In fact,
Right.
I suggest you absolutely not do that.
Right.
But I mean, there's plenty of these things, you want to help, you have the equipment, plan a trip down here and help us scan these lakes.
Exactly. Listen to her, people.
I mean, I know the family has started putting up, I've seen on the In Search of Randy Leach website, not the Facebook page, they have a section where they put up certain boat ramps for boaters with sonar to beware that there's a missing person in the area and things like that. But I mean, if someone's not looking for that, and I mean, I know a lot of our group, we're from all over. I've discussed Randy with people from Australia.
Oh my goodness.
From the West Coast, East Coast. If you're vacationing, this is something feasible that you can do. Also, if you can't do this, still look at these maps. Like I said in one of my lives, it may mean nothing to you. We may see, and I'm just going to zoom in here, we may see a random pond. And
like
someone,
that, yep.
Like just a random pond, and someone maybe in Florida sees something in that pond.
Right.
It's just another possible object to us.
Right.
But I did let the family know through their tip contact that I did make a map and that it is available for their use should they need it.
Awesome.
That pond may mean something to them.
Right.
Maybe someone was associated with that location at one point in time when the family or the police were investigating. Right. And that's that one thing that they need to take another look at it, especially with technology the way it is today. We're working with a lot more capabilities than they had early on in Randy's investigation.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, even if you can't get down here, keep doing what you're doing in the groups, because it could very well be that one thing that helps bring Mrs. Leach the closure that she needs and deserves.
Right.
So let's see.
Absolutely.
Let me see. Do we check a little bit of the comments? I don't think there's anything on this portion.
Right now, it just, hi, Leanne. Leanne's on there. Hi, guys. Hi, everybody. Okay, Mark says, if we could get permissions, I would come down for a day or two here and there and do magnet searches. Plane flights cheap. If I had a list of addresses with a green light to search, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Mark, you ever make it down here, you better get a hold of me, bud.
Let's see. Yeah. Oh, I went too fast. Okay. It's just a lot of people that are just saying hi and yeah.
I'm just going to kind of leave the comments up to you because I tend to have tunnel vision towards my maps when I get them up.
And I like where you're going with this. That was a whole lot of locations.
Oh my goodness, that was outrageous.
And
if we could, kind of like perspective,
if we could get a weekend that we could get a lot of people together and hit as many places as possible and do some of those, then I think we could take some of those.
Oh gosh, yes.
And get those checked off.
Yeah. And now one of our other things we were talking about in the lives that we kind of left off with in the last live I did in Recovery Mission, Randy Leach's car group on Facebook, is the idea of Randy possibly being hungry.
Right.
I did a rudimentary timeline for myself. I did it off of the statements and the public information that was leaked on some of the other Facebook groups with Mr. Leach's timeline. And one thing I had noticed was there didn't seem to be any meal after lunchtime for Randy.
Right.
And based off of the sightings and things like that, people that have seen him around Linwood throughout that evening, it didn't really seem like he had time to get anything other than those candy bars
Right.
and the pops.
Right.
And, Mr. Leach hit this hard. I would think if he ate something at the Linwood Cafe, that would have been noted.
Yes.
Right.
I was thinking maybe he did have the keys. Like Mark had said previously, I think in a Facebook group, it was more common to leave our keys either in the ignition, maybe the visor,
Yes.
especially when you're somewhere, that you consider your home base.
And if you get a chance to visit Linwood, it's very small. I mean, it is so small. I mean, you can walk everywhere you need to go. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's super small. So I guarantee you, keys left in the ignition and the visor, whatever, that had to, I'm sure nobody even locked their doors at night. So, I mean, it's super small.
So it is possible that he did during a short period of time, know where his keys were and retrieved them and left the area. Anyone who's ever been under the influence of anything knows that our needs, our wants, our thoughts, they change.
Oh gosh, yes.
Very quickly. One minute I'm upset or I'm pouting, and the next minute it's like, oh, let's do this.
Right. Right.
So, it's possible. And with that said, I put out a kind of like a notice for restaurants, anything that may have been open after like a 1 a.m. time frame.
Yeah.
Now, I'm from Chicago. We'd have a problem if that was Chicago.
Right.
But out here, we've only got really 2 options. But I do actually have 3. We have, let's see here, where are my restaurants? Ta-da! Right there.
Okay.
There are my restaurants. First, we have Victory Junction. And this is from Alex.
Okay, Great Bape, who is Leanne, just made a comment. Arlie and Lola, who own the cafe, said Randy wasn't in the cafe that evening.
Okay. He wasn't in the cafe, but did he attempt to get there?
Right.
Could be another issue.
Right.
But that is great knowledge to know that he didn't
Thank you,
get there.
Leanne.
So
Thank
this
you.
way I don't have to think of possible routes of where he would have went from there. Then we have McDonald's. Leanne did say it was closed. But the thing is, if I'm intoxicated, my time perception may be off, and I might not realize this establishment is closed. I mean, there's been plenty of times in my early 20s where I've went somewhere to be like, dang,
right.
It's closed. And now I'm wondering about where I'm going to go from here.
Yeah.
So we have that one. And then there was one more that came in recently. This one is a little bit farther. This is the Wyandotte Cafe. It was told to me that it was open in the 80s, late 80s, 90s. Great midnight breakfast spot, after drinking spot, things like that.
Yeah.
So there's that. And then if you can see, okay, we have our green routes, possible ways, lots of different direction he could have taken, the red thumbnail at the bottom. And now let's just enact our creeks for those. and are ponds near those?
Jeez.
So, I
Oh my
mean,
goodness.
accidental theories, that's why I
Uh-oh.
came up with the idea of maybe a flyer to put it in people's minds that there is still a missing young man in this area and that there is a potential he could be underwater. And then, I mean, I don't know about you, but psychologically, if it's put in my mind that I may have something in my pond,
Right.
and you leave me to marinate on that thought for maybe
Yeah.
a couple weeks or a month, I'm going
Yeah.
to want that checked out. And
Right.
then this way, they can call you guys to schedule it.
Right.
You could schedule them however you want, and they feel more comfortable because it's not someone just knocking on their door either, popping up out of the blue, a stranger. They are actually initiating the contact with you guys.
Yeah.
And then I know there's certain spots due to tips and theories that you guys need to search, but technically, with an accident not being able to be ruled out, there's a lot of these ponds that just need to be searched on pretense alone because they're so close to water.
God, look at that. Look how many are pretty much just right on top of each other, Denny. Look at that.
Yeah, we did the 166 route with Brent in one of our lives. Like this red spot right here is where water meets road, but Brent was kind enough to take some cell phone footage for us so we could get a lay of the land. And he checked that, and that was really shallow. And a lot of these very well might be where you could see the riverbed. Some of them might not be. And, you know, with the Kyle Klink scale issue, you know, when he was missing 45 years and he showed up in that shallow ravine that people have passed and fished, you know, it kind of brings up the thought that maybe we haven't, you know, we're just missing something.
Yeah.
And by looking at the map, there's a lot to miss.
Yeah.
So let's see. From here. I feel like I'm running your show, guys.
No, you're not. No. You do what you need to do. Alex says, if I was driving my parents' vehicle somewhere, I don't think I would leave the keys in it while I was at the party. He respected his parents and took care of their car or their stuff by washing and waxing. So yeah, it depends. I mean,
yeah, it depends if he was thinking about it.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, there have been times that, you know, there's certain things that I almost mechanically do. But then when I'm put in a situation where I might be excited or really looking forward to something, I don't know if it's because I'm a woman or, you know, just the type of person and personality I have, but sometimes common sense just kind of flies out the window for me.
Right.
And I'm like an ADD squirrel, like, oh, no. And I forget to do most of the common things that I would normally do.
Oh, where did Leanne's go? Hold on just a second, Jennifr. Let me see something here. Okay. Leanne just wrote, country people value their privacy more than they want closer for someone else's family. The Linwood area has changed so much since Randy disappeared. I doubt the new people will allow searches. Oh.
And the only way we're going to know is to knock and find out.
Right. And then true crime. So I'm seeing you'll eventually find him. I think you're working with Jen will be good. Just a reminder, last week, Jen told me about Ariana on your live, and I told her, and you and I heard something like a sewer. And she was found in a sewer drainage. Just about Randy, I think I heard cinema, but not sure. Maybe check to see if a cinema is close in any of the areas Jen mapped out. Okay. let's see.
I think we need Leanne's input on that since she's here. If there
Right.
was any kind of common cinemas in the area,
Yeah.
he might not
Yeah.
have been trying to go to the cinema per se, but something
Driving
around
past.
the area,
Yeah.
or he may have been brought to that area for some reason.
Right. And Leanne said, at Mark, we didn't do bar closing breakfast until we hit our 20s. So, okay. Aaron, Flanagan didn't know anything and Randy became insistent and made Flanagan mad enough. I don't think Randy's disappearance was pre-planned. What if Randy has been on the Flanagan property all these years? That's very true too. I mean,
Yeah, at this point, there's still nothing that can really
Right,
be ruled
right.
out.
I agree. And I would say for what some of us have been called before, armchair detectives and
Right.
internet sleuths.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a very viable option. And I'd really start to encourage you guys to look into seeing how Flanagan would have gotten rid of a vehicle if he had any connections of any sort and things like that.
Okay. Oh, and then Dan just wrote cinema closed before the party ended. So, yeah.
But that means there is.
Oh, Jen. Are you still there, Jen?
No, I'm muting it on and off because my mic is very sensitive. And
okay.
when I take a sip of something, the ice sprinkles.
Gotcha.
So
okay.
You'll see my mic going in and out.
Okay.
This way you don't get no background noise while you're reading their question.
Okay. I thought, oh no, it messed up again. Okay. Aaron Flanagan. Okay, I read that one. They have a channel called Armchair Detective on YouTube too. All right, Aaron, maybe Randy walked into a drug scene and since he wasn't of his right mind, didn't hold back what he saw or thought someone there did. Something with the car and he couldn't go home without the car. Did that make sense? Did I read that? That makes sense. So there's that one. Would learn to search, possibly a drive-in.
And I agree with Mark on that.
Yeah.
Mark said he believes that good people would let you search.
Oh, yeah. And then Brent says, the people who owned the Burns property welcomed my brother and I. They had heard about the case and were compassionate for his mother. I believe new owners would let us search.
Sam, we've got permission now to search an area off of Stranger Creek.
Yeah.
And these people were very, very open.
Oh, goodness, yes.
To allow
also, you have the possibility because, like I said before, police seem to select certain individuals to almost stalk and harass after this, is what I've heard from certain locals that have been vocal on different social media platforms. I haven't spoke with them personally, but everything is screenshotted and things like that. So I have read that. And then, people, the blame game and anyone who was kind of at the party or had any type of criminal background or criminal mistakes were kind of looked at funny. Now that you're getting all these new people in, you don't have the stigma of the past 20, 30 years of all the stress that came with searching.
Right.
So, new people very well might be more sympathetic. I guess it really depends on who you get.
Right. Okay, Brent, let's see. We had Alex wrote, always wondered why if Randy had a curfew of midnight and he went from what has been said that he always was home by midnight, what truly transpired at the party from 11 to midnight. That's a key time. That's very good. Yeah, yes. Brent says, people who have owned the properties for a long time might be annoyed at people for asking all the time. Very true.
And that's where Jennifer's map, another way it is so nice, is it lets us know if that place has been searched.
Right.
And Jennifr, if it was somebody who was just adamant that somebody's not going to search, would that be on the map as well?
What do you mean adamant that someone's not going to? Anything is on the map. We all have our personal thoughts and opinions. Some people believe this theory, that theory. I myself have mine as well, but I try to be open to all because I run a map for everybody. If you have a dream about a location,
right,
it's on the map. If you see an object in there, it's on the map. There are people who will contact me through private messenger. Don't give me a reason whatsoever except for check this area. It's on the map.
Yeah.
Now, like I said, I just do the map to organize the internet, because if you've ever looked through the Facebook groups and pages, there's locations, then there's like 6 or 7 different inspirational thoughts or thoughts of well wishes and well-meaning. And, over a span of even 2 months, there's a location that could get lost in there.
Yes.
So when I did the reason I used Map Hub was because, it's a link. Everybody could access it. I kind of wanted something similar to my Google Maps, but, with all the different categories and things like that. But also, if you click on a location, it'll bring up a link to the original post, if there is one. So let me see if I can show you guys really quick for those of you that don't know.
Okay, Flanagan could have been in. Oh, okay. We've got a couple more comments here. Jennifr, give me 1 second. Okay, Leanne said, I think the Flanagan property is for sale. Maybe someone could schedule an appointment to see it and maybe walk the woods. So that's nice to know. Let's see. John said it'd be nice to fingerprint Marble's Satanic Bible. Okay, Aaron just said Flanagan could have been an informant for law enforcement for drugs. He wasn't afraid of going to prison. He killed his girlfriend and got a slap on the wrist. Everyone knew he was into drugs. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry.
Then Leanne also says that Marble was not involved, or that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that
Robbie
was another one.
Involved.
Yep. John Galt, Robbie was not involved. Okay, I saw some. Okay, there's that.
I do believe Robert Marble was one of the ones that law enforcement kind of had tunnel vision on in the beginning.
Right.
And that's kind of based off of reading the reports and things like that were leaked, because there's an awful lot of just kind of like following this man around.
Yeah.
Right.
And he wasn't a man at the time. This is a 17, 18-year-old kid that they were just kind of following around at the time. So.
Right. Alex wrote, here's another question. Might take a few posts. Steve Doherty, was he legally blind? Think glasses, never drove. Supposedly didn't own an automobile. He drove by the next morning, though, in a van.
See, I haven't seen anything that says he was legally blind, but I haven't been able to find a lot on him.
Right.
Anyway.
I can chime in on that. I do believe Alberta had mentioned something about very poor eyesight. Harold's interview with Profiling Evil and AWP. I do also believe there is a podcast stating legally blind. But let's not forget this was years later. There are reports. There is one report that stated from a community member, no one at the party, no one related to the case. and they referenced Steve Doherty owning a old gray telephone van. There's also another report from someone in the community stating that Steve Doherty used to work at the greenhouses and be a truck driver. But at the time that the statement was given, Steve was no longer employed there, which the person giving the statement did not know the reasons for his unemployment.
Right.
So that's
because Leanne also wrote, Alex Ames Steve wore glasses, not blind. He did drive.
Alex's.
Oh, Alex, I am sorry, hun. I am so sorry. But he owned his own vehicle, borrowed from a lot of people.
Yes,
So right there.
Steve wore
Yeah.
the glasses. He was
Yeah.
not blind, but
Yeah.
drove but other people's vehicles.
And Christopher Mears says, it seems to me an awful lot of waterways have been searched for this Randy and no luck really on finding him or the car. Is there a possibility the car's off the roadway, overgrown and brush? That was something we talked about.
Seeing that can't be ruled out.
Right. Okay, where did that go? I just saw it. Okay. These kids didn't kill and dispose of Randy in the dead of night with no signs. Exactly. Christopher said he was intoxicated at the party and was looking for his keys. He may have found his keys, made his way to the car, and attempted to drive the car home, going off the road somewhere into the woods. That's a very big possibility. Anything the sheriff discounted is worth looking into. Absolutely. Aaron, if Flanagan is or was an informant for top drug deals in Kansas, Missouri area, then maybe that is why a judge won't open the file and law enforcement screwed up to keep everyone distracted. I agree with that. Yeah. What do you think, Jen?
I do agree too. I honestly, through my life experiences, any of these theories are possible. Even the most wildest, outlandish possibility. It's just that we don't have the puzzle pieces to make those possibilities make sense.
Right.
I have an instance in my life that if I told you the story with just the bare basic details,
right,
it would never be possible until I explained exactly step by step how I made it possible. Then it's like, well, that is possible. She's not lying. Yeah.
Right.
So, oh my God, she actually did this. And, I'm a little funny with statute of limitations, so we ain't going to mention what it was.
Because Alex, right. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
But I had also with the weeds, like Alex is talking about in the comments.
Right. I was just getting ready to read that. Yep.
If we could mention it, Alex has been kind enough to start an experiment for us about the brush and the weeds and, just the wooded areas. And he picked, for those of you that don't know, he picked a focal point of a semi truck through woods that has been parked there. It basically plans to stay there. And he's only about what I think Alex said, 300 yards away from this. And every Wednesday since he took a picture of it this Wednesday, right around the time Randy went missing. So the environment is pretty much on par with when Randy went missing in 1988. And every week he is going to take a photograph and see how visible that this huge semi truck becomes through this brush. And once again, it's a huge semi truck. We're looking for a silver sedan that possibly may have been overturned. And I don't want to discredit any of the people, any of his friends, family, community members that had went out and searched like Leanne. But there is a chance that, like I said, spur of the moment thinking, not of clear mind, an accidental turnoff went the wrong way, or, ooh, how about I do this? You know what?
Right.
Yeah, I want to see this girl, or I want to go grab something to eat,
Yeah.
or I want to say, I want to see what this dude is up to. So I mean, it's nothing against the searchers that were present and worked diligently to find Randy in 1988 and since. It's just that, looking at that 30-mile radius, which he could have potentially got to within an hour drive, there's a whole bunch of places that they most likely didn't look, because why would they?
Right. Yep.
And Brent had a good point on there. And I know we've gone from the old Irwin residence to the Leach residence every possible way.
Right.
And just the way the land is through there and the houses and all of that, it's hard for me to think that a vehicle is just off in the weeds there, because you could see in through anywhere.
Yeah.
When we went out for the meet, we did drive around some again,
Mm-hmm.
and you could see in there until there's no vehicle. So unless he did go somewhere other than home,
Yeah.
it's hard for me to see that he went off the road in the grass or the weeds and has been
Right.
hidden.
Because Brent did say, I feel like I can rule out the brush theory unless he took a different route home. If he decided to go somewhere else other than home, possibilities are endless. Absolutely.
And
Leanne
I do
said,
agree with that.
right. Jen, excuse me. Leanne said, I drove around for an hour and 45 minutes looking for him wrecked that night. Every route he could have driven home, and again the next day. So let's see. Bobby says there's many things that the law investigators know but cannot relieve the information. Carla A. Massey says, from what I've known, Terry Campbell had a huge start to this mess. Sheriff then, but Annie and Dan know something, I'm sure. Probably. Oh, and then Aaron said, other than the interviews with Randy's parents on AWP, does anyone know of transcripts of Flanagan being interviewed by police? Harold and Alberta went to jail and talked to Flanagan.
Yes.
Does anybody know of any?
That.
Okay.
They did say that they spoke to him, and I believe what Alberta said Flanagan told them was, I don't know anything, but if I hear something, I'll let you know.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I had heard as well.
Yeah, that might be the exact words, or pretty dang close near it.
Right.
But I kind of wanted to touch on what Bobby said about law enforcement knowing things that they can't reveal.
No.
And
Yeah.
I do agree with that. But where I'm grabbing my clues from, Bobby, is retired detective Timothy Dennis with the KIB. He came out in, what was it, like 2013-14, around the time of an anniversary of Randy's disappearance, and he told the story of the accidental drive off into Stranger Creek that possibly may have pushed the vehicle down the Kansas and even as far as the Missouri. Now, what I'm getting from that interview is that is a gentleman who's seen it all. Everything we are not privy to. Much more than the 1,500 pages that have been leaked on the internet. Yeah. If there was a possible suspect, a person of interest, someone that they had their eye on or liked for this crime, but they just couldn't nab him. I don't believe he would have came out with the accidental theory if they had someone for the liking of what happened to Randy.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean,
yeah.
Retired detective, he's seen it all. If they said, if they had their eyes on person A, but they just didn't have anything to link or prove it, but everything was telling them person A had something to do with it.
Yeah.
then I don't think he would have went on and said that theory that he did if they had anything viable.
Yeah.
You know, you see?
Yeah.
See, and that theory concerned me though, because I believe it had been 10 years since Randy had went missing when he done that. And hearing from those who were in the area at the time about there being little to no water, getting the past weather records that show there was little to no water, it is hard for me to understand how he come out with the theory that he washed down the creek in that far with there not being enough water in there to even float a car.
Yeah, it sounded just very, very, very funny. But
And maybe locals can tell me this. What is the flow like on Stranger Creek? I mean, I know there are parts of Stranger Creek that get high. I know that it does accumulate a good amount of water in it. But what is that flow like?
I mean, it floods every year. I mean, we could have 2 days of rain flooded. I mean, it's horrible when it comes to that. But the flow, Denny, how would you?
If the water's low, you've got really no flow. In many areas on Stranger, it will either dry up, just be rocks. I've seen areas that the water would flow backwards for about half a day until it got low enough to dry out areas just to keep big puddles and the holes and stuff going through.
So would you say the flow is just kind of, is it super fast? Is it just piddling along? I mean,
no,
what would you?
It's just a mellow, slow flow on a typical day.
Yeah.
On a normal day.
Yeah. And then Katie, Stranger flows slow. Yep, absolutely.
So unless the point of entry was close to the Kansas, there's no way that flow could push a car. I mean, so it's nothing like, you know, the Missouri. If something went in the Missouri, based off of what I've seen in videos, you know, it could go a good distance.
Right.
Unless you're going off at that exact point, pretty much, that Tim Dennis said in his theory, which is the Red Bridge, Stranger Creek. And then I can show you guys right here. Let's see. I'm using, where are we at? Here's the bridge. Unless he went off here. I mean, even that's a big distance for a slow flowing creek.
Right.
I mean, and we're still good, you know. What would you say, Dennis? This is maybe about what, 50 to 70 feet still up in the air?
Oh, it's a lot further than it's got a pretty good distance through there.
Yeah.
So I mean, just going through, I mean, you get closer down, you still got a long way to go. And according to, I believe it was Leanne, there was some type of gathering going on down here. I would think if something splatted in the water from right around here, that might cause someone to maybe not necessarily check it out, but be like, hey, what was that? And then, you know, a couple days later, everybody knows Randy's missing. I would just think someone would have said, you know, when we were hanging out down by Red Bridge, we heard that noise, you know.
Right.
Now, are you on the 32 bridge right there?
No, I am on Golden, where the bridge came down due to the flood in 91.
Okay, yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, Red Bridge was old bridge back of Linwood, not 32 bridge. That's what Leanne just said, so.
And even the Kansas River in that area where Stranger meets, that area is really shallow normally as well.
Yeah. And Leanne, the night that you went looking for him, I think you you kind of came down to this hangout spot because some of the people had moved. How?
Uh-oh.
Hey,
There. Okay. You cut out for a minute, Jen.
Oh, sorry.
Nope, you're okay.
Leanne had mentioned, I think previously, that while looking for Randy, she did end up going down to the gathering by Red Bridge. I was asking how far along this riverbank was that gathering in relation to these railroad tracks? Because, you know, he would have had to come if Detective Dennis's theory is plausible, he would have had to come somewhere right around here into the creek. And I was just wondering how close the people were hanging out to this point. Oh, Brent, I just read your comment about a good time to ask me about the locations of the caves.
You're right. I'm sorry. I was reading a comment there. I missed that. I'm sorry, Jen.
I think I figured it out. I really think I figured it out. Let's see. Let's go back. The reason I was on this map to begin with is because how I was talking about how locations could get lost. Like you see this, we click on it. Oh, this is one that doesn't have a tip. Oh, that's another one. There are some that are just given to me without an actual post. Like, here we go. There's a post here.
Okay.
Along with the possible things. So as you guys, as potential searchers, this may be something you're interested in.
Okay.
If my internet comes up. I think I may be overshooting here with my, there we go, with my broadband. But it brings up Jonathan's post from February 24th. It shows his original statements, his original pictures, and any type of conversation regarding that. So if someone may have said, no, I fished in there before, or, I lived by there and that it was kind of dried up. There's nothing there. You as potential searchers can read all the commentary on that. Do you know how long it would take you to find Jonathan's post if you just went to Randy Leach or the Facebook group and just start scrolling down? So yeah, the map is just kind of so no one misses anything.
Right. Leanne just said, Dennis said he went off of 32. But Jen, see the dirt path off the road by Red Bridge? That was our effing entry party spot.
Okay, let's go there.
Okay.
Here's where the bridge used to be. Going crazy. Here's where the bridge used to be. Follow my mouse.
Okay.
And there's a road here. Here are the railroad tracks. And here is that road that Leanne is speaking of.
Okay.
Okay. Now, Leanne, was it close to the railroad tracks, or did you guys want to be out of sight more and kind of follow it down further towards the Kansas?
You're okay, Leanne. Don't worry about it. She goes, didn't mean to type effing. You're all right, hon. You're okay.
Okay, what's going on?
And you were cutting out just a bit there, but Leanne, she's asking, how far down that road was it where the local party spot was? Was it near the entrance or was it further down?
And then while we're waiting on Leanne for that, I want to ask your guys' permission on something. I know you guys normally don't do this, and I can understand why. Brent asked about the caves. Can I pull up one of the leaked documents? It does not have anybody, personal citizen. It's not a statement from a personal citizen. It's a reporting officer. basically writing a report on a location he checked. It doesn't implicate anybody. And I just wanted to know if I can kind of bring that up for everyone.
Okay,
But
give
it's
us
up to you
one.
guys.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be fine. That's been released all over Facebook anyway, so I
Yeah,
don't think
we
it's
don't-
gonna make a
Yeah,
difference at
that's
this
fine.
point.
Okay.
Yeah. Just other stuff, unfortunately, no.
Exactly. I mean, like I've explained in my live, I mean, there may be people, as my daughters say, are sus. But ultimately, these are very real people with very real lives. And even if those people are deceased, they still have loved ones that love them
Yeah.
dearly.
Right.
And these are raw reports. There's very few actual verification reports of information from those people's statements. So yeah, but this one is just a reporting officer checking out a location. So let me see if I can bring that up.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
also,
Go ahead.
Leanne responded, they followed the path to the trees. Then there is a high berm. We walked over that into the woods to the banks.
The berm hid our fires.
Okay. Let's see here. Now let me switch over. Okay.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes.
Look at that.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
On 6/18/1990, at approximately 700 hours, I responded to Leavenworth County, Kansas, approximately 1.5 mile west of 32 West and 1/8 mile north of the railroad tracks, to check for a cave entrance that CI told me about. When I arrived, I discovered a number of trees in a 1 mile radius that were burned only on one side. Most had approximately 15-inch high burn marks. These were average heights. A further check of the area revealed an orange parka found in a creek bed, and a small cave entrance was discovered, approximately 36 inches long by 25 inches wide. Now, for those of you, to give you perspective, it's pretty much no larger than the opening for your legs under a desk.
Yeah.
That's kind of what we're looking at for those measurements. Continuing on, outside the entrance was a brown plastic wrapper and a spoon. The brown plastic wrapper was an encasement for an MRE, military C rations. Once inside the cave, I discovered an area approximately 2 feet in diameter, circled with white and gray stones. Inside this circle was pieces of burnt firewood. A check of the inside of this circle was conducted. A very limited search. Some words that I am not quite sure and don't want to guesstimate on. Let's see here. There were rock shaped oddly along what appeared to be a melted black plastic, or possibly with wire or candle wax mixture. Directly behind fire, what appeared to be an H, moving on, or some type of sloppy spray painted arrow. There were approximately 3 unopened cans of Budweiser beer, all standing upright, which would indicate that this most likely was inhabited frequently. That's just my commentary. Continuing, we were approximately 1 foot from the circle. At this point, I noticed several passageways that he walked down, it goes on to say. So at this point, I'm going to kind of skip over this because it is out there. Basically, what he's saying is he ended up finding, let's see here. a body of water that appeared to be about 3 to 4 feet deep in this cave. Okay, with the entrance of the cave reminding you guys about no larger than the opening for your feet under your desk. Now there is a 3 to 4 foot deep lake, and there's 3 passageways. So that kind of gives you an idea of what we're looking at here. To go on, he ended up pulling some evidence from this location.
Yeah.
He ended up pulling a rope, some shotgun shells, it looks like, some burnt plastic, things like that. The rope had some brown stains on it. Now, is this kind of sounding familiar to you guys?
Just 1 second, Jen.
Okay.
Give us 1 second. This is, yeah, that's fine. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Now, is this kind of sounding familiar to you guys? The gentleman that was found in the cave, they couldn't find the cave. Everybody was assuming it was Lenape Cemetery, and Lenape, and the caves were in those woods. Now, when I read the report, and I actually had Brent look over the report, because 1.5 miles west of 32 and 1/8 of a mile north of the railroad tracks, I couldn't find anything. It wasn't making sense to me. And Brent was kind of at a loss too when he responded back to me. But yesterday I was talking to someone else, and they asked who the officer was. So just in that, and this is where teamwork is awesome and important, because I went to this page and I went to look at the officer because I couldn't read it at the report. But then I noticed the officer gives a different location in the evidence report. It's approximately 10 miles west of 32, and it looks like 8 1/8 mile north of that point. So, Brent, you asked about the caves. Here is my epiphany from yesterday. Let's go. I was all excited about this yesterday.
Right.
Because let's see here. Let me go. If we go off of the directions on the evidence report and not the written statement from that same officer, I got a big line here. Now, keep in mind, this is the point right here where that ends. We got about 10 miles west and about 8 1/8 north. So we end up here. This ends us up in the 20-mile radius from where Randy was last seen. Now, I was thinking 1988, the report was taken in 1990. We didn't actually have Google to precisely map out this many miles this way, that. He was most likely still going off of a paper map, and it was kind of estimated. So this little yellow circle is a 5-mile radius from the description point. I've got more. Look at the cemeteries in the area. We have Eagle Cemetery.
Okay.
With
Denny's writing these. Yeah, Denny's writing these down. So give us 1 second as we go here. Okay, Eagle. Oh.
I think we lost her audio.
No, she said she kind of wraps it up.
Muting and unmuting.
Yeah, remember? All right, so the last one we have, or where you started off, was Eagle. Go ahead.
Okay, we have it within this radius. We have Eagle Cemetery, because what I was trying to do was to put one or more of these statements or accounts from different people together to kind of make them line up. If you recall, the gentleman that gave the statements about the caves, he was under the influence of some type of intoxicant, very frequently. He even admitted that himself. So, there may be a time span where,
Right.
or, he's different, or he's mistaken the location. Pretty much cemetery headstones. I think you would kind of remember that, even intoxicated. So that's where I started going with that. In one of the gentleman's sworn statements, he said that he exited a home with someone. They got in the car and drove about 30 minutes. This location would take them about 27 to 28 minutes to get there. I did directions from. And then if we get in closer to Eagle Cemetery, it's very desolate. Let's see. Let's go to 1991. We still have Eagle Cemetery. And we have very few homes here.
Right.
And if you look at the terrain, we have bodies of water that could potentially lead to underground water. And this is, I'm not from the area, but if I was looking for caves, this is kind of what I'd be looking for. Areas like this. So, and then we do also, let's go back, let me try to get a better view. Let's try to get one from fall or spring. We do have creeks here too. So that would also describe the officer's location.
Leanne just said, Jen, I think I know that spot that you are talking about. It's the Bonner Springs Cold Storage Caves. The first cave in that complex has a lake in it. My older brother used to party there.
That is what I think we were all assuming when they said caves, that we were talking about the cold storage caves, because if we go down here, the cold storage caves are somewhere along this line, up in here somewhere. And because here's Randy, here's Lene Cemetery down here, and the caves are right here. I think we are all kind of assuming that they were the Bonner Springs cold storage caves. This area by Eagle Cemetery is more by McClure, if I'm pronouncing that right. And it would fit with the general vicinity of the reporting officer's discovery of the rope and some of the other items, that there was evidence of activity there. It could very well fit with Jeff Tyne's statements. And I want to give you guys, I was looking at this and I got very excited yesterday. So, of course, I went to tell my husband about it. And he's like, well, are there caves there? I said, I don't know. I cannot.
Hey, Jen. Jen, you're breaking up really bad. Oh.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, there's a lot of static going on.
Okay, let's see.
Yeah.
Is that better?
And guys, is Jen coming in clear for you guys?
Because I thought maybe it was just our headphones or something. Ooh.
Here, hold on. 1 second, guys.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, she's kind of staticky.
Okay.
There we
go. Okay. Go ahead now. You're good. Uh-oh. John said, wish Jen was on this case 34 years ago, right?
Yes.
Alex.
Yeah, because Jen has been second to none on this.
Oh, I'm telling you. I don't want to play with you, Tex. He brought me his toy. No, I don't want to play.
And guys, she's working on getting that taken care of.
Yeah.
We'll be right back.
Bobby. Good one. I can't get over how extensive her maps are. I mean, that's just ridiculously amazing. Wow. McLeod is not an area. Oh, hopefully she'll be right back.
Okay, McLeod is not an area any
Yeah.
of us went to or socialized.
Except
for
football games. Gosh, I hope she comes back. Hold on, guys. Let's go to the comments here and see if we made cold storage. Wish Jen was on this 34s. Go. Okay. No, so it's pretty much the same that we've been. Yeah, we're all caught up pretty much. Maybe I'll be fine. Help me from me to you. Okie dokie, Bobby.
And guys, especially you local guys, what she was talking about at first about there being so many areas doing a big search, like a weekend search or something.
Yeah.
You know, is there any of you who would, and I know there's some of y'all who will, but any of you that want to do this, let us know and we will all work together, get a time that we can go out and knock as many of these areas out that we can that day.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, we want to be thorough with it, but we want to get these areas checked. And she had to reschedule the Topeka rally
Jen.
till the 28th, I believe.
Meg.
Because the legislation was on break.
What was the date for Alberta's the 28th? Yeah, the 28th.
Yeah, so the 28th at 1:00 at the Topeka Capitol building.
Yeah. Are you back, Jen? She's situating, I'm assuming.
Okay, guys, Jen is back on. We're waiting for her audio to come back up.
Yeah. What? My link is just hit channel 4. Leanne, maybe I'll be able to hobble up there.
Leanne, I just hope that knee gets a lot better for
yeah.
you.
Can you hear us, Jen?
What she's saying about Eagles Cemetery is interesting.
Yeah.
Because that fits the directions that officer gave.
Yeah.
There were 2 cars found in Stranger 10 years later by Timothy Dennis. Why didn't those cars wash out to the Kansas River? I don't think the cars move after they sink. Mark, you're right. Once the car settles down, it doesn't go anywhere. The only way that vehicle is going to move is if the mud itself shifts. It will shift, but the vehicle itself isn't going to move further once it settles, it gets in the mud, it causes that vacuum seal, and a flash flood's not even going to push that car out of the way.
Thought
Who's
maybe-
doing the dishes, Dennis? That would be Megan.
Ooh, better not say that too loud.
She wanted to join the live feed tonight, and then she's also
It's Jennifr.
getting ready for Easter dinner.
Yeah. She's got my youngest daughter in there with her cooking. Okay, give me a second here. It's not what I wanted. Oh. Sorry, my phone's taking forever. I think Jen just sent us a message. I hate this phone.
Okay, guys, Jen message. We're trying to see what's
that's
going on.
no, that's Annie.
Oh, it's okay.
Excuse me.
Mark, the town hall. Right now, we put it up in the air as far as what kind of event we're going to do, and a town hall was one of those. We can go ahead and announce tonight that the town hall has won the vote, so we will be getting that lined up and be doing that event.
Right. Can you hear us
Can
now,
I-
Jen?
Can I be heard?
Yes.
It was the craziest thing. I couldn't even chat. I mean, I could do private chat, but I couldn't do like comments to everybody. I couldn't type anything, but I heard you guys just fine.
Well, they were mentioning in the comments that you were just the audio was so bad.
And
So
I
I'm
don't
glad
know
you're
what
back.
happened. I didn't move or anything. It was crazy.
Right.
And I think it was Alex asked it if you still had dial-up internet.
I have the most expensive internet known to mankind.
I would think so because these maps are amazing. You need all
And
that to do that.
yeah, I've got like the Xfinity broadband, the super package with the high speed, and yeah,
Right.
just something happens. But also there is a video on YouTube. I don't think I can post it in the comments. But when I saw the Eagle Cemetery, I kind of figured out the directions from the police report, stuff like that. I got really excited. And, of course, first thing I did was go to my husband to tell him, because he
Right.
basically is the sounding board for everything. And he's like, well, just look up the tunnel system. There is no online mapping of the Kansas caves.
Right.
I mean, they might be sitting in a file cabinet somewhere in Leavenworth County, but I mean, they're definitely not online. So he's
Right.
like, check out YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
And I put in YouTube, and I will post it in the comments after the video, because for some reason, since I'm on StreamYard, I can private chat with you guys, but I can't seem to put any comments in the live chats. But it's this video. It's not Linwood, but it is Kansas City, Missouri caves. And they go in this little area, and then boom, there's like 3-4 different ways that, they find deep in the caves. They find a lake. They find like a circle campfire with folding chairs around it. They find like oddly laying stones that look like they do a path. There's a whole bunch of spray painting. So that would be good. I'll post that link in the comments after the live, so you guys can kind of get an idea of what the potential cave systems in this area are like, or what they have the potential to be. Because while the reporting officer mentioned a small opening to a cave system, it doesn't mean there wasn't a larger opening somewhere along that system.
And Jennifer, when you put the link to that, could you put the link to where everybody can find your map? I
John.
believe it was John who
John.
was asking where to find that map.
Absolutely. I will do
I'll do
that
it.
then. And yeah, John, I am typically
Right back,
on
guys.
Facebook. We have a Facebook group called Recovery Mission Randy Leach's Car. I am just a member of that group. It is not my group. And you can either like post locations there as well. And I then add them to our map, or you can send me a message privately. You can even tag me in one of Dennis's feeds with like latitude and longitude coordinates, and I can get it added that way too. Because we do want to get, if someone notices something, we do want to get it on that map.
And you have been incredible doing that. I mean, your map is just second to none.
I had a hard time finding an application that would do what I wanted to do because, like I said, let me show you guys something. Let's see here. If you see, I have like all my little file folders here, things cleared, places of importance, routes home. I kind of wanted that for everybody to share, to look at. This way too, if you're looking on the map and you find a vehicle or what looks like a vehicle in this pond right here, you can check the map to see if someone has already mentioned that. And then you know, well, okay, they are aware of that object in that body of water. It's on the map, and we can keep on searching other areas. I personally am horrible, unless it's like that car that was found in Florida in that clear pond where you can visibly see it's a vehicle. I am horrible at making out these images in these ponds. Let's see.
They can be tough. And I think a lot of people, they will see something and they're not sure what they're seeing. And instead of speaking out and saying, hey, there's a possibility, they're just sitting on that just out of fear that it's not nothing there. And I would much rather them speak up and say, hey, there's a possibility something's here, so that could definitely get searched.
Absolutely. And that's why I made the family aware of the map I created. Well, I'm not sure if it's the family or the spokesperson. Like I said, I did give the information to the In Search of Randy Leach Facebook group. So this way, you know, I'm in Indiana. I might see something in a pond or like the wood pond, but I might not have any type of pretense to say, yes, this is where you should divert your time to. And I might not want to inconvenience Mrs. Leach with that. Well, Mrs. Leach or the family can go on to this map should they choose to, and they can look themselves what people are coming up with. Law enforcement, if there's any local law enforcement that kind of keeps an eye on the internet chatter, they can look at this map and see if it's anything relevant to their investigation. So hopefully it is really helping a lot of people, not just our citizen searchers and our private groups like you guys.
And say, I know when it comes to us and others who have been searching, these maps have been invaluable. And I could only imagine it would be the same way with the family and with law enforcement. There is so much to offer on these maps that, I mean, you paint a detailed picture.
Thank you very much. I mean, I tried, and yeah, like I said, I just wanted to organize the internet. So that's what I've kind of done. I do have some pictures to show you guys because I can't do the link to that exploration of the caves until after the live. But let's see here. This is taken from that video. This little hole is a portion of a cave. If you can kind of see, that is an entrance to the cave, okay? To the same cave system that this is.
Wow.
I'll leave that up just so you can kind of, I mean, it's a blurry picture. It's dark. It's dank down there. The explorers that created this video, once they got deeper, they had to put on masks because there was like mildew smells, things like that. It started, they weren't sure if it was getting steamy or dusty in there, but the air was very hazy from something. And let's see here. And this is one of their discoveries too. This is in the cave. This was found deep in the cave. This is fairly into their video of exploring. So this wasn't like something that was right outside, the entrance. This was deep within that cave system. And once again, this is a Kansas City, Missouri cave system. But since we're within about an hour of Linwood, I'm assuming that the Linwood area caves have this type of potential as well. Do you see that, Chrissy?
Wow.
Oh my goodness. Here, I'm just going to stand up for a second to get better light. Oh my goodness. Wow.
It's creepy.
Yeah.
It's creepy. But I mean, like I said, it is Missouri, Kansas. It's Kansas City, Missouri that these pictures were taken from. But with it being so close to the Linwood area, I do feel that the Linwood caves have this potential too, especially when we've seen like the online pictures of the Bonner cold storage caves. Those are nice, they're clean, they're lit, but the pictures I just showed you would be more of the type of caves I would think we're talking about if we go into the cave theory of Randy's disappearance.
Right.
And then let's see here. And I think that's about it that I have for you guys, except for I wanted to show you inside Alex's brochure.
Yes.
This wonderful brochure.
And
This is the
Alex,
same thing.
thank you, Alex,
Yes.
for getting this brochure over.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and hold that up.
And
We do
she's
it.
gonna.
Oh, there it
hold
is.
up.
Never mind. We got the same thing in front of us. Thank you, Alex.
Yep.
She's got the high tech.
Yeah, she's got the high-tech version.
I'm fancy. But I mean, take a good look. This is not the color of Randy Leach's car that he was last seen in, but it is the same type of model. Take a look at the headlights, the grille, the side mirrors, the hubcaps, maybe the front bumper. These are things that might come up if someone was fishing in the area and snag something. If you're magnet fishing, things like that could help identify that this is something. This is something that we need to really investigate this spot if someone would make any discoveries. And then we can kind of move on. That's another view. This is an interior. I don't believe that there would be individual bucket seats in the car he was driving. If someone actually knew that vehicle and could confirm that, but I don't think we're looking at the separate seating. This is a picture of the dash. Kind of zoom in on the steering wheel here of one of them. I mean, this is something that could potentially come up while fishing, or
We're following you in the pictures.
Oh, you're
here,
following.
Jen. So yeah, we're on the same thing.
Hey,
so yeah,
You're taking us to school tonight.
yes.
A side version of the vehicle.
Right.
Let's see here. A close up of the front grille area. Close up of the hubcap, and there are. Let's see here. This is what I'm thinking the interior of the car would have looked like.
Yes.
You have the book. I only have pictures. So you have
we're looking, and I mean, like I said, see, we're on the same thing here. So yeah.
See, I'm assuming this is more of what the interior would have initially looked like. Let's see here. I'm assuming this is more minus the color scheme. This is more what we're kind of looking at for the interior panel.
Right. Kind of it's got wood paneling.
And then we have the coupe. And then these are the different types of hubcaps that were featured, which is pretty important on the Dodge 600. Because, when you buy a car, certain cars have more options than others. So any one of these 4 hubcaps could have very well came on the car Randy Leach was driving. So the spoke style version of the hubcap, searchers do not limit your findings to that one. There are 3 additional styles that could definitely be a possibility. And then last is our color schemes, thanks to Alex. And now we're looking, there was reported a gray Dodge 600. I believe we're looking at the Radiant Silver Crystal Coats, which if I can zoom in.
It's kind of a, it's obviously gray. It's silvery gray,
silvery gray. So, and that's what we're looking for. This would be more so for our junkyard explorers, like I mentioned in my live. Just because you're not in the Linwood, Kansas area, if you frequent a junkyard, if you like the junkyard sites that feature like old cars, keep an eye out for the Dodge 600s. If there is foul play involved, if there is drug dealing usage involved, those type of people travel.
Right.
I mean, they may very well not have wanted to crush a brand new car. Just take it out of the area. I mean, our notification system for law enforcement across the nation was nothing in late 80s, 90s that it is today.
Right.
So it's possible they could have got away with it. So Pennsylvania, New Mexico, wherever you may be, don't dismiss a Dodge 600 just because you're not in Linwood, Kansas.
Right.
And Mark has a good point on the seat, a good front seat to lay down in. In the reports, it says that Burns had said that Randy laid across the front seat. He wouldn't have been able to have done that in the bucket seats.
He would not have. So then we have this.
So that has to, yeah. And those look really comfortable.
Yeah.
I think I could find one more thing for you guys. I wasn't planning on it, so I have to dig. Let's see here. Look at the front seat while I
isn't that a lovely shade of blue? I was just telling Denny though, that does look kind of comfortable. I mean, those seats look like really comfortable.
Let's see. It does. And then we got that again. And let's see. Why can I not find it? Oh, sometimes I'm a little too organized. I love to put things. I love to put things in folders within folders.
Now, Leanne just said, need to ask Alberta if this car was set up with mail delivery with passenger side controls. I can't remember, but her replacement car did have wheel and gas brake on the right side.
Oh, wow.
So that's
That's a good point.
That's a good point too.
Oh, and since Leanne's here, this would be an awesome time to show this. Haha. The party house location. I'm sure most of you have seen this before.
Mm.
In the leaked documents, they're not on the Recovery Mission Randy Leach page, but they are in other Facebook groups, whether they should be there or not. So this is public information. You see how they're all numbered?
Mm-hmm.
To kind of like pinpoint areas. I had one thing that said that Randy's car was parked in 33 right here.
Yeah.
Now, Leanne, looking at this map, you did say, and I understand if you cannot remember this, but would that have been one of the areas, if you can remember, that was missing a vehicle when you returned from the restroom? Because I know you said a couple cars were gone, so I'm not sure if you can remember if that was one of them that was gone, or maybe you just didn't even notice.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's a good point on the VIN number. The VIN number can be changed, but if it was done, the motor has the real VIN number on it. It's actually stamped into the engine
Right.
block.
And Leanne did say, Jen, I wasn't looking for any particular cars.
Gotcha. Can you maybe you can also help me kind of answer a question I've been wondering. Based off of here, I see two garages, one right alongside of the home and one that's labeled a garage in the field. Which one was the one that everybody was hanging out in when it's referred that we were in the garage, or I seen him in the garage, things like that? Which garage? Was it the field garage, or was it the one pretty much right up on the house?
Did you see Leanne's?
Yeah, and Leanne commented that she didn't even know that he was driving his mom's car that night.
Yeah. I mean, and from what we understand, that was not the typical car he would have driven.
Right.
Yeah. But sometimes, I had to try, because sometimes if we see something, it'll be like, oh yeah, by that fence or by that driveway. Now that I recall, it wasn't there. So I just had to try.
And Leanne did say the garage next to the house.
Next to the house was the one.
Okay. Brent said, Jen, I sent you actual pictures on Facebook Messenger. And then Mark, one garage was attached. One garage was detached. I assume it was the field garage. So.
And also, Leanne, thank you for bearing with all of us
Yes.
asking questions. Thank you
Yes.
for being
Yeah.
a troop and answering those.
Yeah.
You have been really helpful with that.
Yes.
Brent, can I show these pictures on live?
What do you mean?
Brent sent me pictures, as he said in
Oh.
the comments. So I just want to make sure I can show them on live. I mean, they're just of the property. They're
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
okay with
that, yeah, that's fine. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, and Brent said sure.
Okay, let's see.
See, and we met Brent and Brandon at the meet, and those guys are really good guys as well.
This is vintage. So this looks to be before 1988, well before.
Right.
But you can kind of see the circle drive. I'm assuming this would have been the same kind of structure that was present before the house burnt down, you know, that type of thing.
Right.
And then let's see.
And Leanne said I was parked where 26 and 27 met by the driveway.
Awesome.
And Mark just said 1984 old house. So that was in, yes.
So this would have been the house that was standing when the party happened in 1988, because it burnt down a couple months after the party took place. That is the house, Leanne says.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. And just to show everybody, let's see here. And she said 26 and 27.
Mm-hmm.
So it would not be a difficult travel to exit out of Leanne's car. And if his car was indeed parked in 33, from right here to right here, that's not a far walk. If everybody is in this area or by the fire pit here, then you might not see him travel from 26 to 33.
Right.
And I am going to put my Google map back up, and I am going to take a break for 1 second, guys.
Sure.
And I will be back in a moment.
No problem. It's where the old school buses were parked. Wow. What do you think?
We need Jennifr around a lot more.
What do you guys think? This has been an amazing live feed. My goodness.
Jennifr is welcome to come over here and carry a live feed anytime she wants.
I'd love to have her organize everything for me. Only problem is I'm so messy that I wouldn't know where anything went or where it went. Yeah. Not that messy, but you know, yeah.
Sorry about that. I heard my puppy crying, and I wanted to go check out what was wrong, and my daughter had left him.
Oh, not a problem, hon.
So let's see here. Can I go back? So, but when we were talking about cemeteries, to give you guys, because I know cemeteries have came up too, to give you an out view. All the white dots are cemeteries.
Oh,
wow.
Alex just said, who's chipping in for Jen's airfare this summer?
Well, if my pond on Wood and 166 doesn't get searched, I very well may come down and search it myself.
Right. And Mark says, I think the more we talk, the closer we get. I totally agree with that. Where, I mean, little by little, it's more, it's just, yeah. Mark, town hall, we get the whole town involved. We set up a table with Jen, her computers, and locals come and talk and sign up for searches. At night, drive, drink beer, and try and shake something loose. I totally agree. Come on, Jen.
And Leanne, I mean, I completely understand how
Oh, yeah.
she says this
Yes.
day is hard for her. She never dreamed 34 years.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
I mean, we're all kind of trying, thinking out of the box. One of our members, after doing a live on Facebook, I mentioned the idea of even if the car was destroyed in a crusher, that there may be reason for them to detach the license plate. Just because, if the license plate is small and could possibly still be identifiable after said crushing, or for whatever reason, they may have wanted to switch the license plates out to become a little bit less undetectable. And one of our members ended up emailing the Association for Collectors, the National Association for License Plate Collection, to keep an eye out for Randy Leach's license plate. In flea markets, things like that. We find that if that license plate ever surfaces, we can rule out accidents. So if we find that license plate, all these yellow mean nothing anymore.
Right.
So, I mean, at that point now you're solely going off of theories and investigating those possible foul play theories hardcore.
Brent just said, Jen, the property owners of the pond you want to search or once searched has a mean looking barking ass dog every time you get close to their driveway.
And Brett, this unfortunately might be one that it might be better to mail a letter. I don't like doing that.
Yeah.
But that's what we had to do recently on a different piece of property. And we had two responses. The first family was 100% wide open and accepting. The second one was,
they just flat out said absolutely no.
Yeah, but with the one we really needed, we did get access to that. So we could help you get addresses if you need or whatever, and help you get letters sent out to places where, if there's a dog there, it's going to be hard to get in. And we can
Ponytail, bring the jerky.
Access.
Yeah,
and I mean, everybody has told me that pond is shallow. I've had people take pictures of it for me, standing on the shoulder of 166 looking in. I have the drone footage from above. And for some reason, though, that pond never gets smaller. And that makes me think it has depth. Through all the years, you can kind of see, like if you're used to Google Pro and you go through the years, 2002, 2005, you can kind of tell when the areas have droughts, because the ponds will start to, sink in on themselves. This pond does not get smaller.
Wonder if it could be spring fed as well.
Right. It is it dates back to at least the 50s. And it even predates Bill's pond. And I don't know Bill personally. I just got his name off of the Adventures with Purpose. This is the pond that Adventures with Purpose searched for the older gentleman. It predates this by like 20 years. And it doesn't look like much. So it can be, you can't even hardly see it.
Right.
So easily dismissed. And if there was a drought, gravel roads, if he didn't make it far, you might not see tire tracks when everybody was out searching.
Right.
So,
Yep.
That is not the greenhouse, Mark. Dennis, can I show the greenhouse? Because the greenhouse.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And mark that pond. Next time we're out there, we'll be knocking on the door again, hoping to get permission to get on that.
Right. And then Haunter 1, if the car was driven to the Bishop property on 166, could a wrecker have taken it away from there?
But there's no linking the Bishop tragedy to the Randy Leach tragedy, as far as I know.
Right.
No one had, I mean, other than 2 disappearances within a couple year time span, there's no, like, none of the players for Bishop were ever recorded being present at the Irwin party.
Right.
I'm not saying that it can't be. I'm just saying that, you know, it's never been recorded. And this is the greenhouse. Let's see, on 32. It was this little house right here. And I'm not even sure if this structure still stands today. Let's see, this is a 2016 picture. Let's go to 2021.
Okay.
And if you look, it doesn't look like that structure's there anymore. So the physical house looks to be torn down. And if we zoom out, this is the property line for that greenhouse. And you can see there's actually a few ponds. Let me see,
Right.
I think I have my needs to be checked. Because sometimes with the aerial photos where everything's like in full bloom, it's difficult. Yes, 3 ponds on this property. And 1991, we would have been looking like this. So there would have been the house, which you can't see, the house in the front right here by the road, and then all this wooded area back here. No structures. There's nothing really off to the side of it here. There's one little house here. And there's a house across the street, but it's pretty far away from where the actual greenhouse stood. See? So I'm not even sure in the evening, if something were to occur on this property, anyone would have seen anything.
Right.
And Brent commented he and I had discussed Bishop's property, and right now that is a back burner property. Brent has spoken with him, and if there's a need, then he will be trying to get permission to search that.
Yeah.
But
Kind of a last resort.
that property, it's kind of a back burner at the moment.
Right.
Well, I mean, it is back burner, but I truly believe that at this point, it wasn't really feasible to do this in the beginning. But I think we really need to search as many and as all as we're allowed to, because, I mean, look at this. This is a pond. It probably belongs to, I don't know the GSI mapping for this location. It's just a random location, people, that I picked. But this probably belongs to this house or this house, okay? Now, you don't need to be the property owner to have something in this pond. Someone could access this pond if there aren't field fences without you ever knowing.
Right.
Just because it was close to their dirty deed.
Yeah.
So, I mean, while, yeah, you know, the likelihood of Bishop's case and Randy's case being connected are unlikely, it still falls within the radius of potential, and someone else could have very well accessed that pond, not just the bad guys in the Bishop case. Any bad guys could have accessed that pond, which is kind of like, it kind of goes to say for all the ponds in the area. But then again, that's why I like the tier system, because this way people aren't getting overwhelmed with searches. We put people, you guys have a capability not many others have. So why would we send you out to search a creek when you can be sonaring 11-foot deep pond?
Right.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Yes. Locals, I look forward to seeing your creeks and ravines posted in Recovery Mission Randy Leach car.
Right.
And the locals, any weekend that we're out searching, if you're going to be out searching creeks, if you don't have a magnet, we do have a couple we'll let you use for the day to go out and use those while we're out sonaring other properties as well.
Right. You want to go up and read what Mark wrote?
Yeah.
Okay, let me get up there just a second. There you go.
Randy would have to encounter Montgomery on the road if he had anything to do with it. Montgomery was not at the party by all accounts that I've heard. And I have not heard of Montgomery being at the party either.
I have not, but also there was a hitchhiker reported in the area, people, too.
That is true.
Oh, my goodness.
And that actually keeps slipping my mind, but there was reports of the hitchhiker.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes,
and then at the greenhouse, an officer said oil was floating on the water of one of the 3 ponds, but they weren't able to search that.
Okay. What is it? What did Mark say?
Montgomery admits to helping dispose of Bishop and Folsom. Montgomery, known auto thief. Montgomery, expert at making bodies and cars disappear, operating a few miles from the party.
Sounds like a hell of a guy. Which of the Bishop brothers have the property now? I forget at the moment, and that's Leanne asking that.
And fire also seems to be a theme here.
Right.
Randy's parents' new car, the house where the party was at.
Right.
Even I don't remember the time frame, but where Bishop was staying in the back of the shop. That
right.
burnt.
There's new comments here. Oh. Which makes me wonder if it's somebody that likes to play with fire or an arsonist is involved in some way. I wouldn't doubt it.
And someone right above.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
I'm local and have magnets and sonar.
And that's the Bonnie life. So thank you. Christopher asks, what makes me wonder if it's somebody that likes to, I just read that. I am so sorry. Craig said Montgomery is dead, but his partner is still alive, which is Cheryl Brinkley. Brinkley was an auto thief as well. Lovely.
And do we have the VIN number on the car? I do have that in my file. I don't think I have it in here. Hopefully I do.
I'm on it, Dennis.
Okay.
Awesome.
Okay. You can bring that
Yeah,
folder
that's
in with
in
you.
my folder in there.
Okay. Here we go. Get it.
Which I've got like 6 folders on this case now.
There are the specifications for the car.
There's the VIN number. Look, I swear, we need to fly her out here. Goodness.
We need to keep her out
Yeah,
here.
I know. Brinkley probably. Go ahead.
You'd have a hard time if I was actually out there, because I am terrified of water, guys. I will get on water, but it takes more flotation devices than humanly necessary to get me on a boat.
Right?
Well, you can
know the
just
bad
come
part?
out and say, you go here and search, you go there and search.
Yes, you can direct it all. And the bad part is, don't feel bad, Jen. I can't swim either. And I'm not very fond of water myself. So, Megan and Denny can get in the boat. I'll just stand back and go, you're doing great, guys. Doing great.
I can swim, Chrissy.
Good for you. I'm proud of you. I can't.
In a community pool with a clear water and a clear bottom, anything over 8 feet, fear kicks in and I sink like a brick.
Right.
And Brent just commented, and I agree with you, Brent. Brent says, I know Jim well. I'm not trying to put salt in an old wound for him unless someone has evidence or a story that connects them. His brother hasn't even been found yet.
I agree with that as well. I mean, unless he's willing to search, unless he's willing to have his pond searched and he brings it up, I don't think it's an area of interest, like related to any of the theories or anything like that. Just for the mere fact it is in the area. But yeah. And I agree with Mark. The bishops are victims here.
Yes.
Right. Grape 8, do you know if Randy was close to Robert Wilson?
It'd be interesting to see Brinkley get interviewed.
Yeah. How long has that been going on with Holiday now? How long?
That's who?
Am I thinking somebody else?
Say Holiday is Brett and Randy.
No, not. Then I'm thinking somebody else. I'm out in my own mind here. Yeah, I'm thinking of somebody else. I'm sorry. It'll come to me here in a minute.
And we have passed the 2-hour mark.
Oh my goodness, that's awesome.
And I am done. I have no more tricks in my bag.
Well, it's been amazing having you on, Jen. You are amazing.
Thank you. I'm just trying to do my part to help from Indiana.
And you're doing an amazing job.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Definitely need more people like you.
Yes, absolutely.
If we had more people like you, Randy would be fine.
Right. There was one comment that, like they said, you should have been part of this. What'd the comment say? You should have been there in 88 or something like that, or I can't remember now. But yeah, it was funny. Anyway.
And thank you very much for coming on here tonight and sharing all of this. I mean, what you're doing again is phenomenal. Almost forgot what she looks like. I think Jennifr now, and I see a map.
I know.
There we go. But I'll say goodbye to you guys now. It's been great. Hopefully, this struck a lot of people, maybe some more locals, property owners that may be watching this to agree to let their property search. Maybe some people who are local that thought they couldn't search, but now with the ideas of the ponds and the ravines, now they can.
Right.
Do that as well too. So hopefully this brings a lot more to the Randy Leach case. And
absolutely.
While I hate being on camera and doing this, what I've noticed is like when people get to interact with the comments and things like that, it keeps attention.
Right.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And it keeps people willing to, there's my cat. It keeps people willing to, keep looking on Google Earth and things like that because they feel that I'm in Indiana or Pennsylvania or Australia, but I am contributing.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So
in a huge way.
Yes. And Leanne says, thank you, Jen. Great job with the mapping. Thank you. Yeah,
no problem,
you're amazing.
And you hit on this kind of a bit earlier, but just because we ask somebody if we could search their pond, or
Right.
if they reach out to somebody to
Yeah.
have it searched, none of us in any way is saying that property owner is involved
Oh,
in the
no, no,
case
no.
in any
No.
way. In a lot of ways, it's a way to clear their property for them so they know their area is
Yeah.
completely cleared and nothing did
Right.
come in without their knowledge.
Right.
Correct, because a lot of these properties have fence lines on them now, but they didn't in
Yeah.
the previous aerial things. So, I mean, anyone doing something could access
Right.
that property. And, you know, Brent's videos really give us non-locals an idea how vast it is and how separate these houses are.
Yes.
It's built, the area is built up, you know, since 1988. So, you know,
Right.
you guys had a growth spurt since 1988.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And Mark
so-
asks, anyone have plans to go out and search soon? That's a good question, Mark. I've wondered that.
Mark, we will be out this coming weekend searching.
Yep.
And if any of the other locals are, you're welcome to throw that on as well,
Right.
if you'll be out or not.
Alex says, incredible work, Jen. You are an unbelievable asset to this mystery.
Thank you very much. I mean, something, you know, I'm not really an internet web sleuth. I've watched the AWP videos and seeing Randy's parents, I formed an attachment. I can't
Right.
really explain it. I don't understand it. But I mean, it's like this is one of my family members or friends now. And
See,
I
that's-
want this man found, this young man found. And
When
you'll
they
probably
went-
see my husband. He's coming in.
When they went and spoke with Alberta the first time, didn't you guys say you felt the same way?
Yeah. She just
She's
just
like a
seeing her,
grandmother.
she pulls you
Yeah.
in, and you can't let it go.
Right.
And just you feel the pain being there with her. I mean, your heart breaks, and there's just no way you can walk away from
Right.
helping her.
Yeah.
Right. You just
Yeah.
her, I mean, what she's dealt with for 34 years, it's just poor Alberta.
I couldn't imagine.
Yeah.
And for her to still be going this strong after everything they've done to find answers,
Right.
you know, just amazing people.
Right. They brought Brinkley back to Kansas. Haunter, I'll be in Kansas for 2 weeks. Next 2 weeks. It's a drive, but I might be able to make it up there.
Oh,
Come
right on.
on.
That would
Or
be
Hunter
awesome,
will
the
be
more
in
hands.
Texas. but-
Right, right.
And then
Oh.
Brent will be searching a pond next weekend as well.
But okay. Yeah. That's awesome, guys. Be safe when you're out searching. Whole 9 yards.
And the Bonnie Life says, I won't be out anymore due to my health, but I'm here cheering you all on.
Thank
Thoughts
you.
and prayers to you.
Awesome. We don't need you out searching. We just need your mind, Bonnie.
Yes.
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 It's
We
because
can put
it
them all
is
together and yeah.
different experiences in life give us different perspectives, different mindsets. And like if I was doing this by myself, looking into this, I would be solely going off of what's familiar to me and what I know. But say Mark
Right.
comes up and says, hey, no, you know, I've done this or this is possible. We've got multiple people with multiple different thinking patterns, life experiences that can really contribute
Oh yeah.
to finding it. So one person is not tunnel visioned and we're not just selectively thinking.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And Mark says he was not too far away. If he was a drunk or drugged, as Leanne says, then he tried to drive and is on a pond someplace. Let's find him. This is most likely. And then Leanne said, I went to his house last. I looked on the county roads first, then drove the highway past Linwood. at 18, I didn't want to get him in trouble by going directly there first.
Gotcha.
So.
And bounce ideas around. Let's see
Yeah.
what we can come up
That's,
with.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the teamwork, the last several months, especially the teamwork I have seen growing on this case has been phenomenal and seems to be growing every day.
Oh my goodness. Yes. All of you are amazing.
Gotcha.
Oh, it's just unbelievable.
And when you've got Jennifr, you know,
Right.
it's going to grow. People
With
are
her-
going to keep coming
Right.
in.
With her extremely high-tech internet, you know.
We talk about you a lot, but I
We do,
promise
Jen.
it's
We
all
absolutely
good.
Computers I can do.
Well, you're doing a good
Yeah.
job. So.
See, I'm not that
Hi,
good
sweetheart.
on computers,
They say
but
hello to you.
I can go out and search. So
Right.
Yes. And as I found out this past week, I am not really the outdoorsy type.
oh, we
Well,
gotta
you know
fix
what?
that.
Yeah, we're gonna have to break you that one, sweetheart. Yeah.
Chicago, you know,
Right.
alleys and, you know, yeah, that's.
But out here in Kansas, I mean, yeah, some of it's kind of boring. It's just endless, just nothing. But we do what she mentioned. You know, we have a lot of beautiful landscape. The fishing is phenomenal.
Yes.
The trails, the hiking. I mean, it's an amazing place to live, I think. I've been here all my life, and I don't think I could live anywhere else.
I didn't
live in
live here all my
rural-
life, so I could.
Do what?
I live in a rural area now.
Oh, do ya?
But
Do ya?
I grew up in Chicago, and you know, while I like the quiet, it's not the violence. You don't got to worry about the kids going to the
Right.
park and things like that. A few years ago, some of my friends were into ghost hunting, and they took me out into the country.
Right.
And the coyotes and the
Oh,
no
yeah.
street lights. And
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I was out of my element and
Yeah.
it freaked me out.
It can if you're not familiar with the place. I'm sure that's happened to you a couple of times. I know that's happened to me, but
If I go
He's
into
okay,
a big
though.
city, I get that way.
yeah,
Oh,
I
really?
kind of the same way. I mean, in the highways, like if we go to Kansas, you know, if we all go to Kansas City for something, I sit in the back and I just go like this because I just cannot deal with all those people and the traffic and just it's so congested. So, and Alex
What-
says the barbecue is phenomenal. Thank you. It is. And Mark says cold winters in Chicago. Yeah.
And Alex, that's the one thing I miss about Chicago is the restaurants and the food. I mean, 11:30 at night, if you're hungry in Chicago, you could get Greek, Chinese, Mexican, hamburgers.
Right.
You know, it's not just a McDonald's and like a White Castle type of thing. If you guys
Right.
have White Castle where you're at.
Oh yeah, that's where it came from. Was Kansas, wasn't it, or Missouri?
That
or-
I'm not sure.
Yeah, it originated in either Kansas or Missouri. So, yeah.
Gotcha.
Brent
Well,
stayed
my
the night.
sister-in-law doesn't have White Castles by her. So when she comes to the area,
Yeah.
that's the one thing she wants.
They are good. I'm not gonna. Yeah, they are good. And let's see. Okay, let me go back up in comments here. It looks like okay. Brent said I stayed the night in a haunted house in Atchison. It was awesome. There are quite a
That
few
would
in
be
Atchison.
fun.
Absolutely. Leanne says me too. City's not for me except for Arrowhead. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Dennis, I have one idea for a drag rake for sandy, muddy river bottoms, which I would like to talk to you about. That sounds awesome.
Absolutely.
I would like to take the country over Chicago any day. I am 35 miles southwest of Chicago, and it's too crowded for me. And John says Chicago has the best Italian restaurants. And Leanne said, which one? And like I said, Leanne, about the haunted houses in Atchison, there are so many.
Yeah.
It's Fort Leavenworth has the most in Leavenworth. But Atchison is right behind it. And they are just totally, they blow your mind, the stories. So.
Yeah, and I can relate with Floss because I mean, well, Illinois, Chicago, the suburbs, they were all my home until not
Right.
too long ago. And the traffic never bothered me. Then I move out here And then when I go back,
Right.
it's like, oh my God, why are there so many people on the road?
Right.
Because Floss, I used to be out towards the New Lenox area of Illinois, which is southwest of Chicago. And now it just kills me to like stop and wait at all these lights, and every little bit there's a traffic light.
Right. Your inner ass just comes out when you're driving on the highway anymore. Like, okay, you're gonna have to move, or I will move you. It's just I can't do it. Mm-mm.
I catch myself doing this. Like, come on.
Right. Right. The Sally House and the McIntyre Villa. Those I've read about those. Let's see. Floss says I'm by Joliet. Am I pronouncing that right? Okay.
Joliet.
Okay.
Casinos.
So yeah. Oh, I see. I see.
Brent's gonna have to let me know about his
Yeah.
experience there.
Yeah. I've read about those. I'm into reading about haunted houses and reading the stories. Haven't gone to any, but but yeah, those are two amazing stories about haunted houses in Atchison. But anyway, again, Jen, thank you so much for being on here. You're amazing. Keep up the good work. I'm blown away.
Thank you very much.
Do you have any?
Mark, I want to address Mark's comments. I don't know the exact route to all the females of interest. I know where Teresa was. I know where Pam was, but there was also a Dana as well from Eudora. So I don't know quite where that was, but let me look into those locations. If those people do not live there any longer, then I will do a route similar to Randy's route home, where it goes to the closest intersection, because I don't feel comfortable doing routes like right to someone's doorstep, whether they live there now or not.
Right.
So we can do that. But yes, we can do a future live, just as long as I know that those people don't live there any longer. And Dana Ponytail was mentioned in one of the reports briefly about being in a female of interest, or possibly an ex of Randy's. But that is a good point too. But if we don't stop, I will be here all night.
You have that problem too? All right. So
We appreciate you coming on.
We almost finished.
And again, if you could put a link over to where you're at in the comment section, people can find you easier. Please check her out.
yes, please.
Everything
please.
that she's doing, incredible.
Yeah.
And I don't have anything else to add after this. I think this was a lot of information to go through.
Right.
And other than happy Easter to everybody.
Yes, everybody have a wonderful Easter. Stay safe. If you're traveling, be extra careful. Anything else?
And Hunter One, definitely get a hold of me.
Yeah.
Here, I don't know if I put it down. I don't remember if I gave this to you.
No, don't do that. All right.
And
Got
I
it?
lost my earpiece.
Okay.
But Hunter One, there's my phone number again. If I didn't give that to you, get a hold of me on that.
All right.
Okay. Have
So-
a good night, guys.
Happy Easter.
You
Good night,
too.
Jen. Thank
Thank
you.
you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So, guys, as I was saying, Jennifr is incredible,
Yeah.
and she's not on here now, so we can keep saying this.
Yes.
I do believe she gets embarrassed by a lot of praise, but if anybody
Yeah.
deserves it, she does.
Oh my goodness. I just am blown away by those maps. They're so intricate, and everything she puts on there is detail, like all these yellow circles and all these yellow triangles. Oh my goodness. So, yeah.
And Mark, when we're back in the Linwood area, that pond is on our list to get there to try to get permission to get on that.
Yeah.
Again, Leanne, thank you for everything you're doing,
Yes,
answering
thank
questions,
you.
dealing with all of us,
Yeah.
sending all of those your way. You have been incredible with that and much appreciated. And so with that, we're going to go ahead and shut this down.
You guys have a wonderful Easter, great weekend. And be careful out there if you're traveling.
And Hunter One, I have a new idea, but it will need someone on each side of a river. Definitely look forward to talking to you about that. And Mark, absolutely, we won't stop until we do.
Right. All right.
So everybody, thank you. Have a happy Easter, a good night. Until next time, stay safe, and we will see you down the road.
Bye, guys.